Good morning. Good morning. My name is Valerie Bayless. I am a member of this congregation and your worship associate today. On behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, intern minister Liz Martin, director of religious exploration Lexi T. Brown, and our music director Alex Peach, and the greeters and technical team that are making today's live stream possible, I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North Congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. UUMAN is a liberal faith community with a mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, who you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Welcome to all who are joining us remotely. For any visitors who are here with us for the first time, and if you're comfortable doing so, would you please stand and tell us your name and where you're from so we can get to know you better? Are there any first-time visitors on this side? Good morning, hi. Excellent. Welcome, Nancy. Any other first time? Hi. Good morning. Hi, Sandra. Any other first-time visitors on this side? How about on this side? Any first-time visitors on this side? Hi.
My name is Jennifer, and this is my wife, Heather, and our son, Clark. And we live in Roswell now, but originally from Kentucky.
Welcome. Please join us in, oh, I'm sorry, one more? Good morning.
We're visiting my sister Betty Brown.
Ah,
We are twins. And good morning.
we were hoping to get to see you. Good morning. Please join us in Fellowship Hall after service today for the new members' welcome reception. Look for the colored lollipop for your care circle to say hello to our newest members. Please note that second hour classes will begin at 11:30 a.m. today to allow time for everyone to enjoy the reception. Atlanta Pride Weekend is coming up next weekend, October 11th and 12th. There are UU activities scheduled all weekend, so please check out the QR code in Fellowship Hall and your emails for links to sign up. All are invited to join the social justice team every Sunday after service to help make posters for the No Kings rally on Saturday, October 18th. There are many events all over the metro area that day, but a contingent from UUMAN will march to hear our very own Mark Peterson, woohoo, at the Atlanta rally. And our Children's Autumn Fest is on October 26th and needs your help. If you're interested in sharing the spooky spirit, please join Andrea and the decorations team in Discovery Cottage during second hour. Please consult your printed order of worship to see our second hour adult enrichment offerings for today.
Our membership team to bring to the front those members who will be joining our congregation today. Those new members who've not yet done so will sign the membership book, and you will go to the pulpit as your name is called.
Okay, we're welcoming our new members who are coming forward to sign the membership book. Gina Brown. Stephanie Dye is joining today, but unfortunately she is out of town today. So Jackie Jane. Constant Lednevskia, also known as Constance L. Olivia Patanian. John Steiny. Amy Tyndall and son Isaac. And Ben Tyndall and son Neil. Here in this church, we together seek a higher purpose and a deeper life than we could find alone. We are grateful today for each one of you that you have found your way here and that you have decided to make a commitment of time, talent, and treasure to this faith community. We hope that as members of this church, you will allow yourselves to know and to be known, to minister to and to be ministered unto, to love and to be loved by this congregation. New members, will you accept our gifts of fellowship, discovery, and service? Will you offer us your unique presence and gifts? Will you add your name to the long history of Unitarian Universalists who spread hope with our living faith? Will you engage with us as we seek to create a community and a world dedicated to love and justice? If so, please respond by saying, "We will."
Members of the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, will you welcome these new members as we each were once welcomed here? Will you offer them the warmth and comfort of your fellowship? Will you seek to add your strengths and talents to the new gifts that they will bring to us? Will you honor the changes to this place that these new members will invariably bring? If so, please respond by saying, "We will." We will. New members, we welcome you to this community with all our hearts. Thank you for joining us. And now let us all greet one another in the hand or elbow of friendship. Come on now. Good morning, people. This morning's call to worship is by Heidi Cottom. Let us be a faith that gathers, reaching for one another through the walls of hate that others build, through the cages of ignorance and arrogance, and through the fear that burns city streets. Let us be a faith that sees a vision for a better world, more compassionate, more just, more holy, and with more love. There is a faith that binds up the broken, cauterizes battle wounds with the balm of peace, sings longer and louder than the trumpets of war. Let us be that faith too. Let us be the ones who do not tread lightly in this world, but light it up with our love, who hold up the mirror of worth and dignity, who are a sanctuary that others seek. But first, let us be a faith that worships together, here, this morning, in this space, at this moment. Let us be a faith. And now let us light our chalice together.
Our chalice lighting this morning is called Intention and Creativity. As we light a chalice, a container of air, earth, and fire, this ritual of our faith reminds our subtle and crashing about beings that we are part of a collective, a community of care and connection, courage and questions, scared and sacred together. Today, we gather with intention and creativity releasing what we must, shaping what we will, in a space made possible by generations of community care and the courage of connection. And now, as you are able, would you please stand and sing our opening hymn, number 1017 in the softback hymnal, Building a New Way.
Well, all right. Well, when y'all are at Children's Chapel, Reverend Dave is going to be talking to the grown-ups about uncertainty. And this is a very, very important idea. You know, it's kind of like knowing what you don't know, you know, because if you feel certain, you think you already know everything, you are not going to be curious. You already know everything. So guess who's helping me with the story today? No, not the frog. How about Curious George? Yeah, George is going to be helping me with the story today. Because, George, do you know everything? Right, George knows that he doesn't know everything, so he's not very certain, and that makes him curious, and that makes him ask questions and wonder about things. This is very, very important. Okay, hang on just a second. Okay, so anyhow, a long time ago, there was a very famous great teacher who dealt with this problem a lot, you know, knowing what we don't know. A lot of people think they know everything, and that means they don't know enough to know what they don't know, something like that, okay? So anyhow, Socrates, he developed a kind of a way of teaching that was real different from a lot of other teachers. He would teach by asking questions. And he would ask so many questions, people would get mad at him, okay? Because, you know, some questions aren't very nice, like, why are you wearing that? Why are you eating that for lunch? But a lot of questions are really good, and a lot of people, if they feel certain about something, they don't want somebody asking them questions about it, okay? And there's a funny story about Socrates. He got himself in a lot of trouble one time because, hang on just a second. Well, yeah, we can talk about this in Children's Chapel. We have to kind of finish up now. But anyhow, so a lot of the city leaders where he lived got real mad at him, and they'd say, Socrates, your students say you're the smartest person ever. Do you think you're smarter than us? And Socrates, maybe this wasn't the nicest thing in the world to say, but he said, well, I guess I am smarter than all of y'all, because none of us know anything, but I'm the only one who knows I don't know anything, and the rest of y'all think you know stuff and you don't. Okay, so anyhow, but so what I'm going to do, what George and I are going to do, we're going to do a lesson kind of like Socrates used to do his lessons by asking questions, so you'll see what this is like. Now, to do this, we have to remember back to last spring. Do y'all remember when George got real mad at Timmy because Timmy was saying mean things? Yeah, you remember that? Okay, so we're going to pretend George and Timmy are friends now. Timmy apologized, everything's good. We're going to think back to last spring when George was mad at Timmy. So a Socrates lesson, a regular lesson might be, George, you shouldn't be mad, you should be nice to everybody. Socrates wouldn't do that. He would ask questions so people would think about what they were doing. So it would go something like this. George, I hear you're really mad at Timmy. Okay, calm down, yeah. All right, so Timmy's been saying mean things to your friend. What do you want to do about it? You're going to steal his lunch and stick it in the toilet? Okay, let's think about that. Let's think about whether that's the right thing. How do you think Timmy will feel if you do that? Yeah, Timmy will get really, really mad. Do you think that Timmy will stop saying mean things if he's mad at everybody? Right, okay, there might be a problem with that. That might not solve the problem. So what else do you think you might be able to do? Talk to Timmy. Yeah, tell him. Say, Timmy, I don't like you saying mean things. You need to stop. Now, do you think Timmy will listen to you? Okay, so you're not sure. How do you think you can get Timmy to listen to you? I don't know, let's figure that out. You could stay Timmy's friend. And if you and Timmy are still friends, when you fuss at him, he might listen to you. Do you think we have a plan? Okay, so now we have a plan. And that's the way you can teach or learn, by asking questions. You can figure something out if you ask yourself a lot of questions about it, but if you think you already know everything, you're not going to ask any questions and you're not going to learn anything, okay? And so let's just see who else we have in this sack. Why, we've got Timmy. Timmy, do you think George helped you by staying your friend but then fussing at you about being mean? Yeah, he sure did, because I wanted to be George's friend, and so I decided to listen to my friend George. Timmy, I am very proud of you. It was a very brave thing you did when you apologized. But don't call me Squeaky. Okay, all right. Back in the bag, guys. Okay, time for Children's Chapel.
At the beginning of each month, the Social Justice Committee will provide an update on past 50/50 collections. In August, we partnered with the Butterfly Project to support a local family that needs assistance. Your generous contributions resulted in a donation to their work in the amount of $814.10. This month's 50/50 recipient is Roswell Empowered, a grassroots organization dedicated to promoting equity, inclusion, and diversity in the Roswell area. They believe that empowering all of our neighbors, especially those who've been historically marginalized, including but not limited to the LGBTQ+ community, immigrants, racial and ethnic minorities, women, and the unhoused, creating a stronger, more vibrant community for everyone. Today is a 50-50 Sunday, where 50% of our offering, including any check specifically designated as 50-50, will be shared with Roswell Empowered. And for the entire month, any checks or breeze donations specifically designated as 50-50 will also be shared with them. Our 50-50 speaker this morning is Jennifer Donlin. Jennifer grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, and moved to Georgia in 2016 with her wife, Heather. They now live in Roswell. In 2018, Jennifer and Heather began their IVF journey, and in 2020, they had their son, Clark. In May 2025, the first Roswell Empowered event took place, and then in June, the first ever Pride Walk Roswell filled the sidewalks of Canton Street. Jennifer Donlin.
Thank you, everybody, so much for this honor. It really means a lot to have the support of UUMAN. I had never heard of UUMAN until the Pride Walk in June. And that day I met a ton of people. Admittedly, I do think I blacked out at some point during it. But a few things really stuck out that day. One, many of the people that attended the Pride Walk were also members of UUMAN. And two, every single person that I've met from UUMAN has been incredibly kind and welcoming, and no one has ever pressured me to become a member. There have been suggestions to attend, but no one's ever pressured me, which I personally appreciate, having grown up in the church and unfortunately doing some of that pressuring when I was younger. Two people in particular have gone above and beyond to help Roswell Empowered from UUMAN, either by showing support, volunteering, donating, or asking over and over and over what they can do to help. The first is Courtney Rozier, who is on the board of Roswell Empowered. She has introduced me to so many people in the community, is one of the kindest, most genuine people I've ever met, and is constantly checking on me to make sure I'm not getting burnt out, which I need. And no doubt these values mirror the values of UUMAN. I'm so incredibly grateful to have met Courtney and to work alongside her and to see what we do in the future. The second person is Jennifer Philippi. She attended the Pride Walk. I hadn't met her yet. I was just following her campaign online. Her first weekend post mentioned the Pride Walk, and it included photos from it. Not long after that post was reported, and it was removed, and I felt awful because there were some people in the community that were concerned that some of my activities, if tied to a municipal candidate, would be used against them, and it happened. So I messaged her on Facebook, and I told her that I was so sorry, but that it meant a lot that she even took the risk. And she responded, quote, "I'm happy to be a proud part of Roswell Empowered any way I can support. If someone wants to hate me for that, then I view that as their problem." And this is what true allyship is, which also no doubt mirrors the values of UUMAN. So I look forward to continuing our work here in the Roswell area and hope that all of you guys will join us. We have a fundraiser event coming up on the 11th, which is a very busy weekend. We are also hosting a town hall for all of the municipal candidates on the 20th. I will not be moderating that because I already know who I'm voting for, and that wouldn't be fair. So being a recipient of October's 50-50 helps our mission move forward, and we really, really appreciate it, especially since we are so new in this process, and the community has just really taken us in. So thank you all so much.
In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share of their time, treasure, and talents. With this, we will now take the offering. You may also use the Give Now option in the Breeze app.
So great to hear the choir again. Thank you. May we accept the sacred offering generously given by our beloved members and friends, and may we and Roswell Empowered use it to further our mission in the world.
At this point in our service, we share our joys with each other to magnify them and our sorrows to divide the weight of their pain. If you're so moved, please feel free to come forward, state your name, and drop a pebble in the bowl and express a joy or a sorrow that you may have. For those attending via our live stream, if you have a joy or sorrow that you would like to share, please type it into the chat.
Hi, I'm Michelle Lieber-Gassell, and Mike and I signed the book almost 30 years ago with Bruce Langston and McPatty. So it's a big deal to sign that book. I would not have stayed if not for my husband, who was church-raised United Methodist his whole life. But anyway, so I remember the first Sunday, and I didn't know about what we stood for or anything, but just people were nice to me. I remember Mary Beth Stevens was, in particular her, but so as I have grown through the years, my sister is gay, and I love her, but being part of the Pride effort, and actually Pat Carter and I were coordinators back in like 2006 we were the UU Pride coordinators of the Atlanta cluster. And so this is going to be the best UU presence at Pride ever. Yeah, and we have, Paul and Terry are working on the float design, and Paul is a balloon artist, and we're going to have balloons, and people will be able to ride on the float. But this is for you guys. If there are 30 people who sign up to either march or there's going to be a parade, our first ever parade watch party at St. Mark's United Methodist, I'm going to find a bus. It might be a party bus. It might be a school bus. But to pick us up at 11:15 next Sunday and take us down to the Civic Center where the start point is. So anyway, I'm just so grateful to Dave Dunn, our minister, our longest serving minister, who has supported me in this effort. I mean, supported us, not just me. It's the cause. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Philippi, a member of this church. I'm going to take up a little time this morning with 3 pebbles. So first and foremost, I am just so grateful that Jennifer Donlin is here with us this morning. She is one of the best people I know. She has the biggest heart, and she holds us all to a high standard, but one that's not unachievable, one that is just should be expected of us all. And I appreciate her so much. Next, we had a wonderful Youth Day parade yesterday for anyone who came out. And if you guys haven't seen it, Miranda Philbin created a float for me, and it's still parked on the side over here. It is a tremendous work of art. Please go check it out. We will disassemble it tomorrow, and parts of it are going to be donated to the Chattahoochee Nature Center. It's made out of recycled materials, and it is just fabulous, so please go see that. And finally, we are just a little over 2 weeks away from early voting. So even if you don't live in Roswell, all the municipal elections are this year. Early voting starts October 14th. Election day is November 4th. Please get to know your candidates and get out there and make your voice heard. Thank you.
I'm the other Jennifer, the less popular one. Oh, because now there's 3 of us. My name's Jennifer. I am co-chair of the Social Justice Committee. This pebble is for the UUA. I have been a Unitarian as long as my son has been alive. He's about to turn 32. And I have never felt as supported as a Unitarian not living in Boston as I have in the last 2 years. It has been a pleasure, and I think long overdue, that the Unitarian Universalist Association is spending a lot of time, a lot of resources, and a lot of energy in places that touch my heart. In particular, I want to lift their involvement, and they are one of the official sponsors of the march, the No Kings March, that's happening next Saturday. They have been involved in Pride. They're supporting the UU cluster here, and also they have been supporting our efforts in getting the word out for the Public Service Commission, which will also be on the ballot this November. So go UUA, and our membership money going towards that.
My name is Jennifer. No, it's not. My name is Miriam Patanian, and I'm a member here, and I have several joys. I have 4. So the first one is that my mom is here visiting us from Nashville, and it's just so wonderful to have her here and to have her sitting here today to support her granddaughters joining the church. So thank you, Mom. My second joy is that on Thursday, John and I celebrated 21 years of marriage. So this is for us. My third joy is that our son Jacob, who was raised here at UUMAN since we moved here when he was 3, just turned 18 yesterday and spent about 6 hours at Ink and Dagger getting a fantastic looking sleeve on his arm, a tattoo for those who didn't know. And you know, tough guy he is for the tattoo. He whispered that he wanted to go back to the nursery after the new members were recognized because one certain toddler was in need of his cuddles. So. And my final and not least joy is for our daughter Olivia, who is now the youngest member at UUMAN. I think she just beat Lexi's record, our DRE. And I'm just so very proud of this young woman and who she's becoming. And yeah, congratulations.
Hi, I'm Rick Diaz. I'm a member of this church, not too long, but for a bit. For those that don't know, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. It starts on the 15th of September, which is weird. I like to think we did that because Hispanics are always late. It was supposed to be the 1st, ended up on the 15th. They're like, yeah, that way they'll get here on time. But what I really wanted to talk about is not so happy. If you haven't noticed, I'm son of immigrants from Chicago, and you see what's happening with ICE in Chicago. And if you haven't seen the specific literal paramilitary raid on a building that sounds like the exact kind of building my parents lived in when they moved to Chicago, and they were welcome at that time. They're not now. Just hold those people in your thoughts. Use your privilege wherever you can. I, thankfully present white, so I can use my privilege a lot until you see my name or I open my mouth and I'm loud. So just defend them, help them, hold them in your thoughts. Don't let them do this to us, right? We're here, we're with you. Immigrants make this country up. They're the ones that built it. That's the sorrow, concern, positive. Jesse's doing a breast cancer walk. That's why she's not here, so she's with her mom. Thanks, folks.
I have 2 stones. So I just noticed in the new member orientation that John Steiny had gone to a 1-room schoolhouse for grades 1 through 3 in Pennsylvania. Well, while he was going there in West Virginia across the border, I was going to a 8th grade 2-room school, walking 2 miles every day in the blizzard and that sort of thing. But the other thing that happened while I was going to that school was in the 7th grade, I received word through my friend of a friend of a friend that my mother was pregnant with twins. And that devastated me. We had 5 in our family, 3 children, adults. That meant I had to share a gallon of ice cream with another 2 people when they finally arrived. And I could only see the downside of all of that. But lo and behold, many years later, I have my brother and sister, the twins, visiting with me. And my brother came in about 3 weeks ago, and he said, "What can I do?" Poor guy hasn't had a quiet moment since. I think he paid for a WVU football game or something. But I want to acknowledge both of them. Debbie's been cooking since she got here. And so there are advantages to having younger siblings. And I got, for the first time in over 25 years, I got Yard of the Month in my neighborhood because of my brother. So this is for my brother and sister.
last one. Good morning. I'm Bruce Langston. I want to thank Michelle for calling me out, mentioning me in her joy this morning. My wife Patty and I joined here 29 years ago. And just being here today with all these new members, it really is so nice to see and know that we're providing a home for people who have felt spiritually homeless, perhaps, and other ways. So that's the first one. Sorry, there's a few here. The other one is my son Dylan, who moved to Scottsdale in March, was here with us last weekend for his birthday, and we're going out to see him for Thanksgiving. These are all tied together. Today is also Patty and my 34th wedding anniversary. She goes to Unity now. And then the last one is particular to today's message, and this is very important because I notice a lot of our new members are scientists, and I am too, a scientist and an engineer. And I'm reminded of a quote by John Feinstein, a very famous physicist at MIT and Harvard, who said, got to make sure I get this right, it's better to have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned.
And I'll drop one more pebble for those joys and sorrows still too tender to escape the folds of our hearts. Let's keep each other in our thoughts for this week. Faith Through Absurdity by Thomas Merton. Absurdity is the anguish of realizing that underneath the apparently logical pattern of a more or less well-organized and rational life, there lies an abyss of irrationality, confusion, pointlessness, and indeed chaos. This is what immediately impresses itself upon the man who attempts to renounce illusion. It cannot be otherwise, for in renouncing illusion, he renounces the seemingly harmless pleasure of building a tight, self-contained diversion, an illusion of himself and his little world. He accepts the difficulty of facing the million things in his life which are incomprehensible instead of simply ignoring them. Incidentally, it is only when the apparent absurdity of life is faced in all truth that faith really becomes possible. Otherwise, faith tends to be a type of diversion, a spiritual amusement, in which one gathers up accepted conventional formulas and arranges them in the approved mental patterns, without bothering to investigate their meaning or asking if they have any practical consequences in one's life.
Perhaps one of my favorite, most memorable experiences since I've been a minister here at UUMAN happened last spring on a Sunday morning when I wasn't leading service, Liz was, and I was out with the kids in what was called Kids Community, or now Children's Chapel. So I was out there with them doing this communal art project. It was out in front of Fellowship Hall. I think we were doing some art project for the Earth Ministry Service or something. So we were all down on our hands and knees painting this thing, okay? We're painting, and I noticed on a little girl's shoe this little cartoon character that I did not recognize. Here's the character. I don't know if you know who this is. I did not know who this was. So I say, well, who's that? And she says, Bluey. I'm like, well, who's Bluey? And all these other kids happened to be around and heard us talking. And they're like, oh, Bluey's this cartoon character. It's on Disney Plus. It's really funny. He plays a lot. And I'm like, I start playing along. Like, really? I mean, are you just pulling my leg here? Because I've never heard of Bluey. Oh, no, Bluey exists. Bluey's great. There's Bluey and Bingo and Muffin and Socks and Wendy and Coco. And I'm like, are you just trying to play a trick on the minister because I'm usually not here? And they're like, no, Bluey's like real. Bluey's real. There's also there's Bandit and Chili and Trixie and Indy and Snickers and Mr. Monkey Jocks. And I'm like, wait, no, now I know you're pulling my leg because I know Snickers is a candy bar. It is not a dog. And all the kids are practically, I mean, they're just really trying to convince me about this Bluey thing. And after giving all these, exploits of what Bluey's doing, finally I just say, I don't know. And one kid comes up to me and says, you have rocks in your head. Ah, that's precious. It's not the first time I've heard that from adults. But is it unreasonable for me to question the existence of Bluey? It's never been a part of my experience, and I've been around for a long time. Is it reasonable for me to just accept the existence of Bluey on faith? Should I be trusting children? They haven't read nearly as many books as I have. Well, maybe I've read more than most of them, but some of them may have read a lot. But they haven't been around nearly as long as I have, so should I be trusting them? Now, I'm not a philosophical expert, and I don't have a degree in philosophy, so forgive me if I leave out some nuance, but I want to talk about a little philosophical drama that took place about 1950 or 60. Starring in this philosophical drama are the logical empiricists and the postmodern deconstructionists. Okay, the names aren't important, but in the early part of the 20th century, the philosophy of the logical empiricists was very prominent. Their philosophy hinged on the idea that any meaningful statement that we can make about the world had to be verifiable by inner experience and proven through logical mechanisms. Again, any meaningful statement we make about the world had to be verifiable by inner experience and proven through logical mechanisms. Then the postmodern deconstructionists came along and said, prove that. And they knew immediately that they couldn't. They couldn't. And this whole philosophical skyscraper that they had been building just came crumbling down. They had no answer to the application of their own criteria of meaning to their own criteria of meaning. And therefore, by their own criteria of meaning, their philosophy had to be meaningless. It was self-referentially incoherent. Oops. Must I have, without a doubt, proof for the existence of Bluey? Perhaps more importantly, in matters of faith, must I have to have, without a doubt, proof to believe in order to have faith? Is that my criteria of meaning? And in matters of faith, can I apply this without a doubt criteria of meaning to my own criteria of meaning? might my needing this without a doubt proof be self-referentially incoherent? Needing that kind of proof, without a doubt proof, involves no faith. Involves no faith. There's no need to trust. A religious believer who refuses to alter their beliefs or convictions when faced with information that contradicts those beliefs, we would call that person a fundamentalist. Doesn't matter what evidence you provide or how the world is, they don't alter their beliefs. Yet isn't one who refuses to submit to any faith unless they have without a doubt proof, isn't that a different kind of fundamentalist coming from the other direction? UU minister and theologian Paul Razor writes, doubt is always a part of faith, and theology should never be free from doubt. Faith without doubt is not stronger, it's simply more ideological. Yes, I'd take it one step further. Faith without doubt is incoherent. Faith without doubt is not faith, but fundamentalist ideology. We often hear people scoff at faith, insinuating that the word blind is in front of it. Or again, that it's believing something without having evidence. Yet perhaps outside of religion, all of us can find in ourselves or in other people instances where we have faith in things, even when the evidence might point to a contrary truth. For example, we might have faith that humanity will survive as a species in perpetuity, when perhaps, due to the environmental degradation that we have inflicted upon the earth from the Industrial Revolution to the present day, and with the current trajectory that we're on in the future, that environmental degradation that we're doing might actually render us temporary, perhaps even short-term residents of this blue boat home. Many scientists have that position. Or perhaps we have faith that humanity will know how to tame artificial intelligence. We might have faith in that. Yet, many tech experts who have a lot more expertise, that are much more qualified than me, and probably many of you, say they have no idea. They're actually, some of them are terrified that we are unleashing something we will not be able to control. Yet do we have faith in humanity is going to be able to overcome that? Might that be a reasonable faith, or perhaps maybe that's unreasonable? Faith isn't or shouldn't be a binary, a true, false, black, white. Like most all things, it's really a continuum. And not just a single-dimensional continuum like a line, but it's like I think of it as like a three-dimensional continuum, depending on what we're talking about. I might need a lot of evidence to believe some spiritual truth, but I might actually need very little evidence to believe something else. Or I might need a lot of evidence to unbelieve something like environmental damage. So it's actually a complex thing, depending on depending upon the topic that we're talking about. At a wedding ceremony, a couple exchanges vows with one another. At that time, based upon their experiences with one another, that's likely a reasonable thing to have faith in, to trust. It's not a certainty, however. It's not a foregone conclusion. There's faith. It involves faith and trust and some doubt. Yet at that time, it is a reasonable thing to have faith in and to believe. That commitment of faith and trust. Faith is a difficult topic for Unitarian Universalists. Difficult. In terms of spiritual and religious matters, most UUs have a pretty high bar that you have to achieve to really have faith and trust in things. Yet from a different perspective, it might not be a very high bar on other issues like the environment, or politics, or whatever. Why is that? That's always fascinating to me. UUs might believe certain things, but when it comes to matters of faith, it's like, no. It's fascinating. Again, it's difficult. I may have blind religious faith, or I might have blind faith in the negation of all faith. I might have reasonable faith that my spouse will keep their wedding vows. I might have unreasonable faith in believing that our relationship with the environment is sustainable. We've all heard the old adage, there's nothing certain but death and taxes, right? If you believe that, then that throws everything else into the realm of uncertainty and perhaps chaos and absurdity, like we heard in the reading this morning by Thomas Merton. Yes, perhaps other than deaths and taxes, everything else is thrown into the realm of faith. I know they wanted to hear this end. Yes, if you believe in this adage, like, there's nothing true except death and taxes, then everything else, including religion, spiritual matters, is into the realm of faith. When you get right down to it, we really know so little. And this can be uncomfortable, Unitarian Universalists. Yet as Unitarian Universalists, we're responsible for our faith. And we must try as best we can, as difficult as that may be, to continuously reflect upon the faith, the values that are dear to us. And we must try as best we can to identify which faiths might perhaps be a convenient diversion, an illusion that we've created for ourselves, and which faiths, by definition uncertain, might perhaps be more sure-footed. Faiths that can guide us into new realms of possibility, where we can discover new truths about our world and about us.
And now, please rise as you are able and join us in singing hymn number 1053 from the softback hymnal, How Could Anyone? Alex will play through once, and then we will sing together. And now let us extinguish our chalice together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our benediction is by D. Scott Cooper, who writes, "The world aches for us to join together, to bring about healing, to toil for justice, to produce an ever-increasing love in the world. This is the calling of our faith. Go in peace and enjoy your week."